any task that you wish to complete within a set deadline, any responsibility that you have taken upon your shoulders, or any activity that needs to be executed within a given period of time. All of these can be counted and considered as a project, since it is quite important to execute all of these at the right time and in the right way. All such tasks, responsibilities, or activities could potentially affect the business of the firm you're working for or your very own firm that is run by you. Every project needs to be taken care of and managed in the most efficient way so that we keep getting the desired result out of it. Therefore, proper management of projects become an absolute necessity. You should have a project management structure within your organization in order to ensure smooth functioning of all activities, as well as to monitor, analyze, and have complete control over the project. Don't worry. We are here to help you decipher it all. So join us as we help you explore the intricacies involved in project management. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video with any queries or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.
Hello friends, welcome to this course on project management. So what is a project, right? And how can you manage a project? So that is going to be our main concern in this particular course on project management. So it is exactly on that what we are actually looking at. So you would be actually spending some time with me to understand more about project, what is a project, and also to understand how you will be able to manage a project. So how can you do that? What are the things that you should be following? So all these things will be covered in a few minutes. So let's get to know all these things. So for example, if you're actually working in an IT sector, in what project are you working on? That can be a project. If you're actually considering the construction of a building, that can be a project. If you are thinking about constructing a bridge, that can be also a project. If you are actually pursuing your PhD, you would be actually working on your projects, on your researches, and you should be actually working on your tasks. So we are actually aiming at one thing, to get your PhD, get your thesis done. So all those things can be considered as a project. So all those tasks, all those activities that we are going to be putting in, or the effort that we are putting in, is ultimately for one objective or one goal. We are actually having one aim. To achieve that particular thing, we are arranging or correlating several other tasks and activities in such a manner that we are following such steps to get closer to that particular objective. And in order to get that particular thing done, we need to be taking care of a lot of activities, a lot of time management, effectivity, and also productivity. So if you're actually doing all these things and not reaching towards our goal, all these things are not helping us out. So what are the things that we should be doing to help ourselves to reach towards our goal? And what are the activities and tasks which we are held with to accomplish what we're actually aiming for? So let it be any such activities, right? So all those things can be classified into your project. As I mentioned, even especially if you're working in an IT sector, you would be asked, in which project are you working on? Is it banking? Is it product-based company? So what is the kind of project that you are actually taking up? What is the technology you're into? So all these things can be actually matched or mapped with to understand what is the project is. Even if you're actually a student who's into college, you might be doing a lot of projects, right? In your final year, you would be submitting a project before you pass out. If you're doing your engineering, so that would be your engineering project. That would be your final year project. Or if you're into some other degree, you would be doing certain projects on that. You would be doing certain researches as well. So all those things which you present can all be considered as a project. So depending upon what all task you're doing, what all field you are into, what all category you're actually working on. So depending upon all those things, you will be able to categorize and you will be able to perform a lot of projects. So all these things can be clubbed together to know or to be called as a project. And in this particular video or in this particular course, we'll be detailing looking at what is project management, how we'll be able to manage this particular project so that we'll be able to achieve what we're actually striving to work for. So how can we achieve that? What are the things, or how effectively will we be able to manage all such things so that we are moving in the right direction, in the right way, and we're actually not spending our time and effort in the wrong place. So that's exactly what we will be taking care of in this particular session. So let's move on to our agenda and understand what are we actually covering in this particular topic on project management. What are the several subtopics that is going to come in project management that we should be knowing of, right? So let's have a look on that. So in this agenda, we are having the topics that we will be covering in this particular course on project management. So in the first module, or in the first topic, we are having what is project. So in order to manage a project, you should be knowing what a project is. Only then you will be able to move forward and understand how to manage a project. So you should be having a clear idea or clear clarity on what exactly is a project. So by understanding on that, we'll be able to move forward and implement a project, how to manage a project, how to control a project, how to rectify the errors which are coming while you're actually implementing a project, right? So the first thing that you need to be knowing is that what is a project? And that's exactly what we will be covering in the first topic of this particular course on project management. Right after completing on what is a project, we'll be moving on to our next topic, which is nothing but our second topic, what is project management? That's exactly what this complete course is all about, project management. So what is actually a project management? Managing a project, we'll be able to simply say in 2 words. Project management is nothing but managing a project. So how can you manage a project? What are things that you should be keeping in your mind while you're managing a project? And how can you do that? What are the things that you should be having? What are the skill sets that you should be possessing? And what are things that you should be keeping in your mind while you're managing or while you're into your project? So that's exactly what we will be getting to know in this particular module on what is project management. So after understanding on all those things, we'll be moving on to our very next topic, which is nothing but phases of project management. So like everything, like human beings, like a product, we'll be having phases. So for humans, it'll be infants, childhood, adults, and old age. Right. So these are the various phases that we are going through. Similarly, for products, we are having a lot of phases. For all the products which we possess in the market, or which we actually see in the market, are having their phases also. And when they're actually in the outdated area, they'll be moving down on their sales and new products will be coming in. Right. So similar to that as well, in projects also, we're having different phases. So when we actually complete a particular project, that project is done. So that is the end of that particular project. And that is the ending phase or the closing phase. So similarly, there will be a starting phase. And in between the starting phase and the ending phase, we'll be having several phases. So then we'll be able to know in this particular phase, what should we be concentrating on? What are the things that we should be focusing on to implement the project in the best way possible? So in order to do that, we should be understanding on the various phases that the project is having. And depending upon the phase, what are the things that we should be implementing or following or taking care of? So all those things can be understood by looking at the phases or the various phases of project management. Right after that, we'll be moving on with our next topic, which is nothing but benefits of project management. Without any benefit, we will not be following anything. We are actually buying a phone. Do we actually spend around 20 to 25K for a phone if you're actually not getting any benefit out of it? Do we actually buy a t-shirt which costs us around 500 to 1000 rupees if you're actually not getting any benefit out of it? No. We'll not be doing anything which is not going to get us some benefit, or we are not going to gain anything, right? If you're not gaining anything, we don't care to buy that particular product, or we don't even feel like spending time with that particular product. Similarly, what is the reason for us to incorporate project management? So without any benefits, we will not be doing that. So what are the benefits that we are going to be getting by implementing project management? Why should we actually follow project management? What are the advantages that we will be gaining by following project management? So all those things we'll be clearly dealing in this particular module on the benefits of project management. So in this particular module, we'll be knowing the exact reason why we should be following project management. So we'll be actually opening our eyes into project management and knowing lot many things. So right after completing benefits of project management, we'll be moving on to the various components of project management. What are the various components of project management? What are the things that are included in project management? What are the various things that we should be possessing or we should be knowing or the skill set that we should be having in our hand? Right? So things will not be achieved on its own. We should be in a position to achieve all those things. Right? So what are the various components which we require and what are the components which are involved in project management? We'll be dealing on that in this particular module on project management, which is nothing but components of project management. Finally, we'll be moving on to our last topic on this particular course on project management, which is nothing but setting of objectives. So our primary aim of any project would be to accomplish one main task. So in order to accomplish that one main task, we should be having certain stages, right? We should be following the first stage and then moving on to the next stage and then moving on to the following stages as well. So in order to do that, we should be having an objective in each of the stages. Only then we'll be able to move to the next stage and then implement following to our final goal, that is nothing but completing our project or achieving what we're actually aiming for. So we should be knowing what should be our objective in each of the phases or in each of the stages that the project is going through. So we should be actually maintaining a clear objective. We should be planning an objective and we should be knowing what would be the right objective in this particular phase. So we'll be seeing on that as well in this particular course on project management. So without wasting much time, let us move on and understand or let us dive deeper into each of these topics one by one. So let us dive deeper into our very first topic on this particular course on project management, which is nothing but what is a project. So in order to completely understand what project management is, we should be firstly understanding what a project is. So without having any idea or having a vague idea on what a project is, we will not be able to manage a project, right? So we need to be having complete idea on what a project is, what it is completely based upon, and what are the things that you should be implementing in this particular project. So regarding all those things, you should be completely aware. Only then you will be able to manage a project. So that's exactly what we will be going to cover in this particular module on what is a project. A project is a group of tasks and activities followed to support the effort to accomplish the specific goal. So in order to accomplish a goal, you would be needing to put in a lot of effort, time, and you should be working in such a manner that you are actually getting to somewhere what you are actually aiming for. To achieve what you are specifically aiming for, you need to be providing or you need to be sufficing a lot of conditions and requirements. And in project, we are actually talking about a lot of tasks and activities which are going to be involved. So let's take any example like buying a house, constructing a building, building a bridge, or anything. It can be simple as submitting our project in our university or school. So in order to get all those things done, we should be doing or we should be following several tasks or activities. It may be research, it may be references, it may be conducting surveys from the people who are actually involved in the particular tasks, right? So we should be following different tasks and activities to complete a project. So that is actually a project, right? So all those tasks and activities which are coming is part of a project. And all those things need to be done in the right manner to make sure that the project is done in the right manner. A project is a collection of linked activities carried out in an organized manner with a clearly defined start point and end point to achieve the desired result to satisfy the current and future needs of the organization. This would be a more detailed explanation on a project. So here, we would be talking about collective activities. It will be a collection of activities and tasks which are linked to each other. So one activity or one task will be linked to the other activity. Only then they will be able to make sense. And all the activities which are being conducted in a project would be linked for sure. That is very obvious. So it can be actually classified as a group of activities and tasks, which is a collection and which is also connected internally. So if one activity is being affected, it is going to be directly affecting the entire project. And that is nothing but if one task or activity is being affected within, then the adjacent activity or the tasks which are coming up within the project would be affecting as well. So that is what I meant by involving the term interconnected, right? Or linked activities. And in this particular project or in any particular project, you would be having a specific start point and end point. The specific endpoint would be when you achieve your particular goal, which you're actually plan to achieve, right? So if you're actually planning to submit some project, maybe it is your research project, maybe it is for your thesis on your PhD. So when you're actually planning to submit something, you're actually having that aim. This should be what I should be getting. This should be the result which I should be getting, right? Or you would be surveying. What would be the surveyor giving us? What would be the interpretations or inferences that we will be getting by conducting survey? All those things we'll be having in our mind. So those things will be our objective. And that exactly would be our endpoint. And the starting point, which would be nothing but the researches that we need to be doing, the study that we need to be actually having, the kind of knowledge which should be gaining through the research and through the project. So all those things would be coming in the starting point as well. So in between the starting point and the ending point, there will be several other tasks and responsibilities and other activities which are related to achieve what you were actually expecting or what you were actually finally expecting to achieve. So all those things are completely linked, and all those things will also be having a specific start point and an end point. And in between, there will be a lot of activities as such. And then we should be actually directing, or we should be actually diverting all these things in the right direction to achieve what we require. So that direction, that complete pathway should be monitored and be controlled. So all these things contribute to the fulfillment of a complete project. A project can be any undertaking which is carried out individually or as a group to achieve the specific aim. So I can be doing an individual project, right? I can be doing some research, I can be implementing some tasks, I can be bringing up with some models, or I can be coming up with a new working model of anything as such. So I can be doing that on my own. And that doesn't mean that a project should be completed by a single person. It can be completed by a single person, or it can be obviously done by as a group as well. Because a lot of projects are being implemented right now in various organizations as groups. So if you are into IT sector, you will be able to know that in much more detail. The project which you are working on you would not be working on that independently. Maybe you were having a certain independency, but you will be working as a team. You will be needing to report to your manager. You will be needing to coordinate with your team members, right? So in such cases, you can also complete a project as a team. And it is most obviously or most commonly seen that a project will be done as a group and not individually. But it is not certain that it can be done only as a group, only as an individual as well. So it can be connected both ways as well. Now let's come to our very main topic for this course on project management, which is nothing but what is project management. So we understood what a project is. So now we'll be knowing how to manage a project. Since we know some basic idea on what a project is, it will be more simpler and easy for us to understand project management or how to manage our project. So let us understand more on project management. Project management is a dynamic process that utilizes the resources of an organization in a structured and controlled manner to achieve the defined goals identified by the organization. So here in project management, it is nothing but we are managing the project. How are we managing our project? We are managing a project in a dynamic process by utilizing all the resources that the organization is having. So what are the resources the organization would be having? Resources can be the building which they possess, the capital they have invested, the capital they are going to invest, the employees who are working for them, human resources, right? And also the building they process, and also the power, water supply, electricity, energy, and all those things, all the machineries, equipments. So all these things can be classified or can be grouped as the resource which the organization is processing. So all those things should be managed in the right manner to ensure that the company is actually achieving what it is actually expecting to achieve. And in product management, we try to ensure that the resources which we utilize are in the right manner. We make sure that the resources are being used in a structured and an organized manner so that there is no over usage, there is no minimal usage, and to make sure that the ideal usage of all the resources are being done. So whenever one department or one team or one employee is actually requiring for any resource, he's actually getting it at the right time in the right amount. It should not be more, it should not be less. It should be apt for the particular thing to be implemented. So in project management, we have and look on that as well. So we would be having a structured and organized view on all such things as well. And all these things would be ideally keeping in mind what our objective or what our goal is for this particular project. So how can this be achieved? How are the resources being matched, or how are the resources being utilized to make sure that the project will be done in the right time, in the right manner, and without causing any delays or any expense as well. So all these things should be used in the right manner. Only then you will be able to get right output, right? So whatever the objects or whatever the objective the company is having on this particular product needs to be conducted in the right manner, and diverting all the resources to make sure that the product is being running and product is on. Product can be on and off because if you don't find that the particular project will be completed in the particular period of time, or the project will not be achieved at all, it can be called a failure project or failed project. So in order to avoid that, we should be working on all these things. And that is the primary importance of having project management in any organization, which ensures that the project is going in the right direction, in the right manner, and the project is not having any trouble in the near future. Project management involves the use of specific knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to create value to the organization and its business. So in order to get something done, we should be skillful. We should be having informed decisions. If we are taking any decision without any information or without any data or without knowing anything, it is so certain that we would be taking the wrong decision. And how can we avoid that? We can avoid that by taking informed decision. So how can we take informed decision? We should be getting updated. We should be knowing the market. We should be knowing the market trends, and we should be knowing what would be the future potential in. How can this product be helpful for the organization by implementing these and these things? So we should be in a position to understand that. We should be building knowledge in the specific area which we are working on. And we should be having a skill set to implement all those things. It is not just that we should be having the skill set. All our employees should be having the skill set. Whoever are belonging to the particular team in the particular project should be having enough skill set. We should be giving training for them. We should be preparing or molding them in the right manner so that they are going to be perfect asset for us. Only then they would be actually useful for us or useful for the organization. If we are having employees who is doing nothing, who is not productive, that can be classified as a resource. If we need to be classifying all our employees as resources, we should be making them productive. And in order to get them productive, we should be building skill sets in them. So to ensure that they are having the right skill sets, we should be giving training. We should be giving them whatever is required to make them perfect for the role which they are into. And the kind of tools which we engage in a particular project should be apt. It should be updated. It should be along with the market. It should be available to us when we require it. And it may be software, it may be hardware, it may be an equipment, it may be machinery, or it be anything. The kind of tools which we process in our organization to get the things done should be of high quality to make sure that there is no flow coming in the future. The kind of quality which we provide to our customers in this particular business should be high. And our quality or the quality of our project should not be questioned by anyone. So to make sure that is happening, we should be making sure that all our tools and techniques that we implement are of high standards. And coming to techniques, what are the techniques which we are having? What is the approach that we are having on this particular project? How are we able to get this particular thing done? What are the alternatives available to us? What is the kind of methodology that we will be able to use or to implement in achieving this particular project or in achieving this particular goal in this particular project? So all these things matters. So it is about your knowledge which you possess, the skill set you're having, the kind of tools and equipments which you're possessing. And it's not just possessing all these things, rightly using in the apt manner. Ideal usage of all these resources is also very much important to make sure that you are reaching wherever you need to reach. A project management team is responsible for getting the project delivered within the estimated time and allocated budget. Both are very, very, very important. If you say that you would be completing this project in 10 days, I'm just giving a random number here. It may be 1 month, it may be 3 months, it may be 6 months, or it may be 1 or 2 years. Depending upon the project, the duration would be longing. So if you have said that this project would be done in X days, it is your responsibility and it is your team's responsibility to make sure that the project is being done and it is being delivered on the X day at least. Right delivery on the particular time would be bringing in more capability and also more trust within your organization. If you mention that you would be giving the particular project on X date and you actually fail to do so, the client would be unhappy, the client would not be interested in giving you more projects, and the kind of service which you are providing to them is very poor. So timely completion of each and every project is also very important. You should be coordinating, you should be managing, you should be planning all the things accordingly so that you would be meeting your timeline, your specific timeline for each of the projects or each of the activities or tasks which are involved within the project. So you should be dividing each and everything in such a manner that you are actually having a time within you or within your department, within your team, so that you know when should you complete this task. What is the time you're having to complete the next task? Right? So you should be having a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Now coming to budget. Budget is also a very important thing that you need to be considering in any project. The kind of investment the organization is making is huge. And the organization is making that much investment because they are so certain that they would be able to get much more out of the investments they are making. So if they need to get more returns on the investment which they are actually doing, it is our responsibility to get that done in the right manner without affecting the quality and also within the allocated budget. We should not be overspending. At the same time, we should make sure that whenever the person or whenever the employee is actually in need of certain resource, we should be making it available for them. And there should not be any delay which is being occurred because the kind of resource is not being reaching the particular employee who was actually needing it in the right time. We should be making sure every resource is actually meeting the particular demand and it is being given to each and every employee who actually require it in the right amount, not more and not less. The primary purpose of project management is to predict, foresee, and eliminate all the dangers and problems that can occur during the implementation. It is so certain that while implementing something, we will be given so many problems. We should be overcoming from all those pullbacks. We should be overcoming and we should be performing well. No matter whatever feedbacks or whatever fallbacks you're having, you should be standing up and you should be rising up and you should be moving forward. And in project management, it is our responsibility to make sure that there is no problem or there is no trouble or there is no danger that we are foreseeing. If there is any, we should be foreseeing it at the earliest and we should be working to resolve that. Whatever troubles we may be facing, whatever capabilities which we possess or which we lack, how can that be utilized? How can that be converted into our benefit? And all those troubles should be eliminated. We should be working on all those dangers and troubles to make sure that the functioning of all the activities and processes or tasks are done in the right way possible. So we should be in a position to avoid all such instances to make sure complete and smooth, effective and efficient working within our team to satisfy or to achieve what we are actually looking for. Now let's move on to our very next module, which is nothing but phases of project management. what are the various phases that a project goes through? Now let's look at that. So the various projects which I have mentioned here are project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring and controlling, and project closing. So these are the 5 phases which we are having, which a project goes through. Each and every project goes through. So project initiation, initial stage of any project. How can a project be started? Right. So that's what we'll be talking there. Project planning. We should be having a complete picture on how to get this particular project done. We should be having the clear plan. What is the objective? What are the tasks and responsibilities? How will we do that? How will we divide all these tasks among the team? And in what period of time will we do it? And what is the kind of budget we require? So all this planning need to be implemented, right? So that is all in project planning. Project execution. Until and unless you execute something, it is not of any value. You might be having $1 billion business idea, but if you don't implement it or if you don't run the business, you won't be getting paid for your idea. But if you implement or if you execute it in the right manner, you would be able to do that. Right. So that is all about project execution, implementing stage of the project. Next comes project controlling and monitoring. So whatever you're implementing or whatever you are executing, is it in the right manner? Is there anything wrong which is going on in the tasks and activities which you are actually taking in place? Is it everything happening in the right possible way? Or is there any changes or modification which needs to be included in your organization in the particular project? So any monitoring and controlling will be helpful for us to evaluate our performance. How are we going? Is our direction going in the right way? Do we need to be incorporating any changes? Right. All those things will be coming in project controlling and monitoring. Then comes project closure. We'll be closing the project here. The complete objective of the particular project has been achieved and the complete delivery is being taking place in this phase. So let us dive deeper into each of these phases to a little extent so that we are able to understand on all these things in a much more clear manner. Project initiation, the first phase which a project goes through. So it is the first stage of transforming a meaningful idea into reality. So what would be the kind of effort that you need to be putting in to convert an idea into reality? An idea can be born anywhere, in any time, and it is not something which is very hard. It is very hard to find out with a valuable and effective idea, but that is actually the most simple part in any project. Implementing that particular idea into reality is what is going to be really tough. And that is the first phase. That project initiation is the first phase which goes into picture when you're trying to get any idea into reality. It defines the project and the idea on a broader level. So what it is completely about, what it is focusing on, who is the actual person who is actually benefiting it, in what category are they belonging to, how much investment do we need to be keeping, and how will be the return be coming to us, and what is the kind of model in which we'll be able to create or able to implement in such a manner that it would be feasible and efficient. So we'll be explaining on all such activities, what are concerning us. So we'll be explaining on a broader level here in project initiation. It creates a project charter with a document which consists of the project goals and constraints, along with timeline and budget. So what is the ultimate goal? What is the ultimate objective of performing this particular project? And what are the restrictions or constraints that we tend to face or we will be facing in the future while implementing it? How can we overcome that? Right? So we'll be talking about that here. We'll be actually thinking and working on that. We'll also be laying the timeline and budget here. At what time or by what time will we be able to complete and deliver this particular project? When do we actually able to completely transfer this particular project into reality? So that's what we'll be doing. Along with budget, what would be the kind of investment? Who would do the investment? And do we actually have that particular return on investment if we actually do this particular investment in this particular project? So we will be evaluating and we'll be studying more on this particular project, what it is actually all about, and will we be able to implement, and is this a practical and feasible project, right? So we'll be talking regarding all these things. It decides upon the key stakeholders and decision makers in the respective domain within the project. So we'll be having subject matter expertise in various domains, right? So in whatever business you are into, in whatever category which you actually belong to, you would be having the expert in that particular domain. So in every project, we'll be dividing each and every tasks, right? So in each and every task or each and every stage, we need to be having a key stakeholder who is completely responsible for whatever is happening in those particular stage. So we should be deciding upon that. Who should be responsible for what tasks? In whichever stage should they be belonging to? How will they be able to manage that? And who would be the right fit for that particular task? So all these things we'll be laying on and we'll be planning on and we'll be implementing on in this particular phase of project management, which is nothing but project initiation, which is the first phase of any project. The second phase would be project planning. How are we planning forward to implement the particular project? And what should we be enabled with to perform all these things in the right way possible? In project planning, we actually lay a complete roadmap for the entire project. Whatever tasks need to be done, whatever process needs to be done, whatever certifications need to be taken, whatever approval should we require, and what is the kind of precautions that we should be having. So throughout the particular project, from the start point to the end point, what are our responsibilities? In each of the phases, what should we be doing? How should we be doing it? So we'll be doing all those particular planning here. A complete roadmap is actually laid down in this particular phase of project management in project planning. We plan the complete project, how to implement, what would be the causes of the effect, what would be the dangers that we need to be overcoming, what would be the problems or the troubleshoots that we will be facing or we will be needing to overcome, right? So we'll be having an idea on all the things. It identifies the technical requirements for smooth functioning of the particular activities. So what are we need to be having? What techniques or what equipment should we be possessing? What is the kind of technology that we should be having? What is the kind of skill set that we need to be implementing? What is the kind of updation that we need to be bringing in to make sure that all the activities are being done in the right way possible without any trouble? How exactly we plan here? It develops a detailed project schedule to adhere to the timeline. So here, since we plan all the activities which to be taking place in each of the stages, we gave a timeline for all those activities. So that in that particular timeline, we'll be seeing that these particular tasks are being done so that we'll be able to adhere to the timeline of the entire project. So we'll be giving reasonable timelines, practical timelines, which we will be able to implement in real time. So how to adhere to the timeline, how to manage the time. So how can we run other things parallelly, which would not be affecting the particular thing which is being running right now? So how can we work parallelly and how can we work more efficiently and effectively? We will be deciding upon that in this particular phase of project planning. It creates a specific point of contact for specific concerns. So if their employees are having any concerns, whom should they be contacting? Who would be the spokespersons, specific point of contacts, right? So who are the spokesperson in various categories? So if you're facing this particular difficulty in this particular sector, who should be contacting? If you're facing in any other particular sector, whom should you be contacting? So the employee should be well aware of all such things. Who is the right person to contact for what particular thing? So all those things will we be enabling in this particular phase of project planning. Project execution phase. This would be the most important phase a project would be going through, because until and unless you implement it, you won't be getting anything. So converting your idea into reality is what is being done in this particular phase, implementation or execution. So this is the phase where the actual work is being done. The real work is coming into reality by implementing. And here we can directly see that. We can directly see the imminent changes which is influencing the complete project. Here we'll be able to visibly clearly see what are the actions, what are the progress, and what is the kind of development that the project is into. So we'll be able to have a complete idea on that in this particular phase. Since it is the execution of the implementation phase, this would be the most difficult phase as well because we are implementing. We're actually on the ground working to implement or to achieve the complete objective of this particular project. It tries or maintains or aims to establish efficient workflows and monitor the progress of the team. So since we are actually working on the ground floor, we'll be able to see what is the progress at, how are the progress going in which direction are the progress in. So each and every detail we'll be able to see in this particular phase. So we'll be able to reflect how we planned and how it is being implemented here. And we venture or we make sure that the complete coordination is being happening within the several departments. So we need to be coordinating with several departments to ensure that the particular objective is being achieved. So whichever department we need to be collaborating with, or whichever departments needs to be helping us, or whichever department needs our help to complete this particular project, we should be available to them, and they should be available or they should be in a position to coordinate along with us. So easy coordination and collaboration of different departments also is being considered in this particular phase of project management. We can't be doing anything on our own until and unless we are being helped or we are being backed up by a lot of resources. So it can be humans, it can be equipment, it can be technology, it can be a lot of things. So we need to be having or we need to be seeking their help and coordination as well. So we actually maintain a complete and parallel and effective workforce by implementing such things. We make sure that nothing is being kept idle and all the resources are being continuously utilized in the right manner so that we'll be able to get the right output in the right time without any delay, without compromising the quality as well. The fourth phase, which is nothing but project monitoring and controlling. How are we able to monitor and control? So when we actually take care of all the activities and tasks which are to be done to make sure that the project is actually going in the right direction, we need to be having a look at that. We need to be monitoring what are the tasks and activities going on, in what kind of approach are they doing it. Are they doing it in the right manner, or can we enable something or bring in something in addition to all the procedures to make sure that it will be more efficient, it will be working more smoothly, and we'll also be able to enhance on the quality as well. So will we be able to make in or bring in any modifications or changes to our force of action, right? So by doing monitoring, we'll be able to get a more understanding on that. And not only that, by having these things done, we also have a control on what are the tasks and activities which are being taking place. So we'll be able to have a control, we'll be able to have a hold or a grip on all the activities which are being taking place to ensure that everything is going in the right direction. It ensures that there is no deviation from the initial plan of execution. So initially, when we actually had the particular product in our mind, we had a plan how to implement the things, how it should be done in which particular manner, and what should be the approach and what should be the methodologies and strategies which we should be having. Are we actually following that? Or is there any deviation from all those things? This is the time where we are actually having a firm grip on all these things. We'll be able to monitor and we are having the complete control to bring in or eliminate any task or activity or any methodology that we are using or we need to be using. It tracks the progress at each and every stage of the project. After one stage, the project moves on to the next stage, right? So how the transition is happening and how are things being implemented there? Are we having the right progress or are we going in the right pace? So how much quality or how much effectivity are we being able to bring in by following these things? So we'll be able to keep complete track on all the progresses that are being taking place in each of the phases as well. And it ensures that there is no error which is being occurring in the process which are taking place. And unless and until that is being taken care of, we should be knowing if there are any errors, we need to be catching that in the first place at the earliest so that work is not being done on that particular product, and we will be able to rectify that thing in the first place and then move on with whatever we need to be doing on. So the first thing is that we need to be eliminating all the mistakes or the errors. So after eliminating the risks and errors, we'll be able to get more quality products. And we'll be knowing where our mistakes are, where our faults are, how we'll be able to improve. And it also verifies whether the tasks are carried out meeting the expectations in terms of quality. So we had an expectation on our quality, right? While we actually planned for this particular project. Is it actually matching whatever we planned for? Or it is actually lacking on the quality? And will we be surviving in the market if we provide this many quality? So we should be thinking and we should be actually monitoring, and we'll be able to recollect and analyze. And if things are going wrong, this is the phase where we'll be able to pitch in and also take control over all the activities to make sure that everything is being deviated in the right direction only. Finally, we have come to our very last phase of project management, which is nothing but project closing. In this particular phase, we actually end the project. Not because the project is not working, we are ending it because we have actually achieved whatever we actually had to achieve. All the objectives, all the tasks, all the activities, and all the processes have been completed. And now we are in the time to complete or close the particular project. All the things that were expected out of us have been achieved, and we are in a position to transfer this particular project to the client or to the person who actually asked us to work on this particular project. So in this particular phase, we also work on the paperwork necessary, which indicates that the project has been closed in the desired manner, which they are actually expecting out of us. So in whichever manner they had to complete this project, we actually did in that manner itself. That is what this paperwork deals about or conveys about. So thereby we'll be getting to know that all the activities and tasks, responsibilities, processes, and all those things have been done according to the plan. So this paperwork indicates that, or this document indicates that. In this phase, we also conduct a reflection meeting to assess the strength and weaknesses of the team for the project for continuous improvement. What were the weaknesses? What were the strengths? What were our area to improve? What are the struggles we saw? What are the area we struggled? What were the complete difficulties that we had to overcome? So these can all be a learning for us. So we'll be knowing that, and we'll be able to tackle all those things in the future projects that we are getting. So we need to be conducting a reflection meeting to learn where we stand, how we can improve, what are the areas that we need to be focusing on. At the same time, we also need to focus on our strengths as well, so that we know that we are strong in this domain, we are strong in this particular thing, or we will be able to attain maximum quality by performing this particular task. Right. So it is very important to know our weaknesses as well as our strengths. And in this particular phase, we also make sure that all the sensitive data and information are stored in a secure place, so that whenever any concerns are being raised in the future, we should be in a position to answer that. So all the details, all the paperwork, and all sensitive information should be stored securely. It should not be leaked. At the same time, it should be accessible whenever a question or whenever a concern is being raised. So all these things are being made sure being implemented in this particular phase of closing. So that's all about all the phases that we need to be going through while managing a project. Now let's move ahead with our next module or next topic for this course on project management, which is nothing but benefits of project management. So if we are following project management within our team or within our organization which we are working for, we would not be simply following something, right? So if we follow anything, there will be reasons behind doing that. And there will be some gains or benefits or advantages that we would be benefiting out of by following or implementing such things. So if you are thinking of, or if you're already accommodating project management, what are the things that you are gaining? What are the benefits or advantages that you will be getting by following project management? Don't you want to know? And that's exactly what we'll be covering in this particular module. So the various benefits which I have put forward on the advantages or the benefits of project management are these: organizes the work to achieve your specific goal, eliminates confusion, improves the team effectiveness, align communication, and also increase the efficiency with which you are working or your team is working. So coming to organizing your work. So in order to get your project done, or in order to get your ultimate goal achieved, you should be following certain things. You should be getting things done in the proper manner, in the proper time. So how can you organize your work? You may be needing to do a lot of things or multiple tasks at a time. So how will you be able to organize? How will you be able to organize the work in such a manner that what are the works that you will be able to take up parallelly? What are the works that need to be done at a later stage? What are the things that need not be waiting for any other pre-requiring tasks to be completed? So you would be having an idea on that. You would be knowing how to organize, how to get the things done in what time, and who will be doing that. So you will be having a complete clarity on such things, and that is one benefit that you are gaining by following project management. Coming to the next one, eliminates confusion. So whenever we are doing something, if we are not so certain about that, we would be having confusion. Especially when we are working in a team, there will be people who are not particularly feasible or familiar with whatever we are doing right now. They may be new to the team, they may be new to this particular project, or depending upon various reasons, there might be having chances of having confusions. So whenever the confusions are arising, implementing project management, and one of the basic benefit that you would be getting is that it eliminates confusion. There would be no confusions at all. And even if there are confusions persisting among the team members within your team or within your organization, it will be so simple that it will be easy for them to get the things clarified. They will be getting all the things done in the perfect manner because all their confusions are being clarified. And it also helps to improve the team effectiveness. They'll be able to work in a mingling space. They'll be able to cooperate with your team members and also collaborate with other departments as well, thereby increasing the productivity and effectiveness within the department, within the team, and within the organization as such. So we'll also be able to work or get the things done in a more effective manner. At the same time, we'll also be able to align our communication and eliminate communication gaps as well. We need to be collaborating within our team, with other teams, and also within the managers or higher level members within your organization. So when getting your product done, you might need to be talking to them, you might need to be getting approval from them. And in all such areas, if you are having communication gap or any misunderstandings, that is going to take a huge toll on your team and you as well. So by implementing product management, all such communication gaps can also be eliminated. And finally, coming to increasing the efficiency with which you're working. The kind of effort you are putting might be very huge. Sometimes, if you are implementing project management, you might get the things done even without doing that much effort or even without taking that much effort. So there might be a simpler way to do so. There might be an easy task that would help you to implement these things in a better way, increasing the quality in which we are working, and also by increasing the productivity. So there need not be any huge input. So if you're implementing product management in all such areas, in whichever domain you're working in whichever category you belong to, in what kind of business you're working on, you will be able to get a lot of advantages. So these are the various few benefits which I have written here, and there might be many more that you would be coming across when you implement project management. Now let's talk about the various components of project management. So without wasting any time, let us move on to that directly. So these are the various components of project management, starting off with defining the reason why the project is necessary. So whenever you take up a project within your team or within your organization, there should be one decision being made whether to move on or go forward with this particular project. Is this project necessary? What is the goal or what is this particular project aiming to achieve at the end? So by studying the project, it is only then that the complete organization or the team is thinking of or taking a decision on whether to take up this project or to move ahead or ignore this particular project and take up a project which is of more value. So in this particular phase or in this particular component, we actually define the project. What is the project aiming at? How it is actually going to benefit the company? How are we able to work on this particular thing? And will we be able to get this particular project done? So these are the things which are coming in defining the project. And these are the things which are being done in defining the project. Next comes specifying the quality of deliverables. So when you actually do a project, we are having an ultimate goal to get this particular ultimate thing done. In what level of quality will you be achieving that? What would be the novelty of this particular project? And how would you be standing out from the existing products or the existing services which are being provided by your competitors? So that is exactly what we'll be dealing with in this particular component, specifying the quality in which we are delivering our project. Is it standing out from our competitors? Is it going to make a difference, or is it going to impact the market? So these are the things which will be coming in this particular component. Next comes capturing project requirements. Once you have decided to move forward with this particular project, you need to be having requirements. You need to be having the resources to implement the project. So in order to get the particular thing done according to the specifications, what are the requirements that we possess? What are the necessities that we should be inculcating in order to get this particular project done in the right way? So all these things will be coming in this particular component. That's nothing but capturing project requirements. Next would be estimating the resources and budget allocation. So once we know what are the requirements and how we'll be able to achieve these things with these many technologies and techniques being employed, we'll be knowing how much time we need to be spending on that and how much money we would be spending on that. What is the kind of investment that we require in order to process or in order to have all the technicalities and also the technology and also other machineries and equipments which is being involved to get this particular project into life. Right. So these are the things that would be coming in this particular component. That is nothing but estimating the resources and budget allocation. So only by having what are our requirements, we would be able to allocate our budget. So that is exactly what we are looking at here. Next would be securing corporate agreement and funding. So once you know what are your requirements, what are the technologies that you're going to implement, what are the materials that you require, what are the resources that you need to be employing, and having an idea on all such things, you would be knowing your budget. You would be knowing your resources that are required to get this project into picture. So just by having that is not enough. You need to have that investments. So you need to get the fundings. You need to get those resources to your team to get everything done in the proper way. That exactly would be what is going to come in this particular component. Nothing but securing corporate agreement and funding to get this project done in the planned manner. Next would be managing risks, issues, and changes on the project. So let it be anything, there would be risk involved. Let it be any business you're doing, let it be anything you're doing, right? There would be a calculated risks involved. So how are you able to manage the risk? How are you able to calculate the risk and take a better decision? And how are you able to cope up with the issues and overcome all those hurdles in your way? So when you're actually trying to implement something, there will be a lot of things that you need to overcome. There will be a lot of issues. There will be a lot of clearance required. There will be a lot of approvals which you need. So how are you going to achieve all those things? Right. And managing risk and issues is not what is actually completed off. You also need to accommodate changes. Maybe you had a plan how to execute the particular project. And while you're implementing this, you came across a new hurdle which you didn't anticipate of. So in such situations, you need to be taking an alternate path. How can you change the particular working so that you will be able to overcome and you will be able to achieve what you're looking for? So accommodating all the changes is also what we are concerned about here. And next comes monitoring the progress against the plan. So initially, while starting up the particular project, we had a plan how to get this implemented. How will we be able to get our particular goal done in the right way without compromising on the quality, at the same time without affecting our pocket? So how are we able to do that? And in order to get that particular thing done, we need to continuously monitor. Are the things going according to our plan? Is there any problem or any trouble or any issues that is arising within our functioning? So we'll be able to know that only by monitoring. Only by having continuous monitoring and controlling, we'll be able to get to know that. And if we find out such situations, it'll be easy for us to rectify that at the beginning itself. Or else, even after doing everything at the end, we would be finding that this is not worth it and this is not what we were expecting. So it is always important for you to monitor whatever is going on within your workforce. Let's now move on to our very last topic for this particular course on project management, which is nothing but setting of objectives. So when you actually get along with project, you would be having a lot of objectives. You would be having a final goal or final objective, which is your ultimate goal, right? So in order to get that thing done, you would be having certain other small tasks and objectives to fulfill in order to achieve that in the long run. So let us look on to this particular objects and how to set objects. Setting of objectives includes performance, quality, budget, and time bound. These are the 4 main factors that needs to be considered while you are setting any objective. Starting off with performance. What would be the kind of performance that you are able to get in if you are able to implement a particular project? And how would you be able to increase your performance? If you are not productive, if you are not efficient, and if you're not working in an effective manner, you would not be able to get maximum benefit. So it is very mandatory to follow that the things you are getting done, when it is evaluated, it should be coming such a manner that you are performing high. When you're evaluating your own performance, your team's performance, and the company's performance on this particular project, when the client is evaluating that, they should be knowing that, okay, fine, this particular team is working on this particular project for me and they are performing well. So we need to be mentioning, or we need to be making sure that we are not going down in terms of our performance, which can affect the quality, affect the trust with the client, and also bring down the efficiency with which we are working. Next comes quality. So as I've already mentioned, when you are performing very well, it is so certain that you would be getting on your quality. It goes hand in hand. But having higher performance doesn't completely mean that you are able to get high quality. You need to be following certain techniques. You need to be implementing the market trends into your project which you're performing. You need to be using the latest tools and technologies. You need to be having all the resources and equipments to perform that. And you would be having the perfect first grade raw materials as well to get this particular thing done. So irrespective of whatever sector you are into, whatever domain you're working for, whichever organization you are part of, you should be working on your quality. So all these things would be considered while you're setting your objective. Would you be able to make this particular project in your top notch? Will you be able to do so? Will you be able to compromise on your quality? Will you be able to compromise on your performance? No. So you need to be dealing in such a manner that, or you need to be setting your objective in such a manner that your quality and your performance is not ever being compromised. Then comes budget. So in order to perform well and in order to make your project in terms of high quality, you need to be spending much amount of money into that. So how can you budget your project? How can you allocate all your resources so that you will be able to get the things done in high quality without compromising on your budget, without harming your pocket or harming the investors? And it will be easy for the investors to get back their money. And the kind of return on investments would be high as well. So how can you allocate the budget? How can you make sure that you are not wasting anything? Maybe you can follow lean principle. Maybe you can follow Kanban, Kaizen, and all the other methodologies as well. So how can you make sure that all the things are being done according to the budget or according to the resources which the company is providing to you? So when you're setting your objective, this is also one major important point that you should be clear of. Then comes time bound. Whenever a client is asking you to complete a project, you are given this particular project with a deadline. And it is your responsibility to take up the things in the right manner so that you will be able to get this thing done in the right time. And asking for extension once is okay, but that would not be feasible when you are implementing these things for a huge client. They might be having your competitors as well to look forward to. And they might even give this particular project to them who was more efficient to get these things done on the right time without affecting the quality. So it is very important that when you are setting objectives on your project, you should be fulfilling, or you should be keeping these things in mind, so that you would be able to get the high quality, high performance, and you are able to get all the things done according to the budget which is allocated to you, and you are able to get this particular thing delivered to your client on time, which they require. So these are the things that you should be keeping in mind while you are setting any objective for completing your project. Finally, we have come to the end of this particular course on project management. So we have covered all the topics that we had planned to cover in this particular course on project management. So what all exactly did we learn in this particular course? We started off by understanding what a project is. Then we moved on to understand what project management is. So in order to manage project, we need to know what project is. That is why we completed project first and then moved on to project management. Then we went on to understand what are the various phases that a project will be going through. What are the various phases? Project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring and controlling, and finally, project closing. So these were the 5 phases every project would be going through. Then we went on to understand the various benefits that we are gaining out of implementing project management. So we are implementing project management to get some benefits or to get some advantages by implementing that. So what are the advantages, right? We had a complete clear clarity on the benefits or the advantages of project management. Then we went on to understand various components of project management. What are the various components? We need to be planning on the project. We need to be getting approval. We need to be planning on the resources that we require. We need to be allocating the budget. We need to be actually getting the funding or the investment so that we will be able to implement the project. So these are the various few components of project management. Then we went on to see our last topic, setting of objectives. There we saw regarding our performance, the quality with which we need to be performing, and time bound, and also on other things as well. So what are the things that we require in order to get some objective done? What are the things that we need to be keeping in mind? We need to be talking about the performance. We need to be talking about the quality. We also should be considering the budget we are having to get this particular project done. And also we need to be considering the time which we are allotted to complete our particular project. So these were the objectives, or these were the things that we need to consider while we were setting any objective. So that's all we had for this particular course. And thank you for attending this particular course on project management. And I hope you had a fun session, and let's meet with a different course.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing. So make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video with any queries or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.